So on our passenger side door, when I pulled the panel, we had several of the pins break on the door panel, but we also had one of our retainer grommets get damaged as well. So I've gotten in a new grommet. It looks a little different than the originals, but it is the right size. They just had a revision in the part. So we're going to take this, and this hole here was where the original was. So we're going to start it in. It's kind of tight, so you're going to need kind of a rubber mallet, and just give it a bop until it's all the way in. Don't have to hit it hard, just kind of nudge it in, and there you go. We're ready for a new pin to be pushed in. So these are the two parts that we have for the door retainer on the door, and then the actual black pins on the door panel. Those are the new ones. The white ones are the ones that came with the car originally. Once again, a revision, but we were able to get these online for a pretty reasonable price. Just had to replace a few because they broke as the door panel came off. We had the door panel off in a previous video. We're just going to update that with how to get it back on. Of course, we've got our door light connector, our speaker connector, as well as the connector for the window switch. And of course, on the driver's side, that has the dual window switch, as well as the mirror adjustment switch is on that one, so it's a little bit bigger connector. We've got all our pins back on, so we're going to simply line up our connectors and get all that in place. The large connector goes up through and out of the hole here on the front side. So I catch that in there, and this one, just make sure it doesn't fall back in behind. This here, the door pull, should already be held in place with some tongues. So unless you took that loose for some reason, that should already be kind of in place. So as you line up, you're going to line up on your pins. Of course, the door will move a little bit on you while you're doing this. So we've got all our pins lined up. We're going to give it a little bop all around, trying to get our pins. If you listen, you can hear kind of the crackle, almost sounds like you're breaking something. That's actually just the plastic clipping into the other piece of plastic. Take our bone tool, make sure that our piece gets lined up. Start in here. There we go. Got our seal pushing into the right place. Making sure we have our speaker wire ready to go. Door handles lining up, still got play like it should, so when we put our bezel across it, we can lock it in place properly. Everything seems to be nice and tight, just like it was before we took it off. You're going to notice this has a little bit of play, possibly on yours, just like it does on mine. That'll tighten up a little bit when you put this on. If it gets too loose, you may have to put a little glue, some proper, interior bonding glue. 3M makes lots of different variants of that. So this, we're going to slide back on just like we took it off. It's got an opening on one side. Get that lined up. You got a single Phillips machine head or machine style screw. Get it run in, lined up on the threads. Tighten it down. Don't get too aggressive with this. Good and hand tight is all you need. It is a piece of plastic, and of course these cars are older at this point, so you get too rough, it will break. Unfortunately, the plastic, as always, gets brittle. We have 2 more screws that we need to run into the door panel. One goes right in here. These help hold the grab portion of the door panel onto the door. So as you pull with that, you don't have to worry about the door panel coming off as you pull your door closed. So once again, you're just going to feed it down in there. You may have to push or pull the door panel in a little bit to get that screw lined up. Once you get it started, you should be able to run it the rest of the way down. Once again, that is screwed into a plastic type material, so don't get too rough with it. The second one is going to go up front. It's going to be right below where the switch goes. Once again, we're going to line it up and run it in. Finally, we have the switch itself, which is grooved, so you shouldn't be mixing up how it goes in. Push it in, make sure it does not come loose. Tuck your wire to slide it in back behind. And it's got a tongue that's going to slide in back behind this black plastic down here. So as you push it forward, make sure it catches on that. And then back here is where we're going to run our gold Phillips screw. I'm going to run that gold Phillips screw down, and of course, once again, it is plastic, so be careful. Cannot stress that enough on these older cars. Once the plastic starts getting old, dry, and brittle, it sure don't take much. We have our, apparently kind of dirty, but this pops right in here. I'm going to pop it in later because it is, as I said, dirty. So we'll clean it up before we put it back in. Button that goes over our screw and our door handle to give you a nice pretty finish there so you don't see the screw. And then we also have a piece of trim that tucks down in here to hide the screw for the button. Now that's on a push-in rivet, and you just simply line it up with the hole and push it in.